Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our shir on the topic of rov and miyut. And we saw in the previous shir that there was a stira in Rambam. If the Rambam says, and this shir should be a schus for Moshe Yehuda ben Peshadina, Lebracha v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav. The Rambam in the fourth parak of Machal Surah says that you're not allowed to eat an animal before the 8th day. If the animal was killed before the 8th day, Asur Daraisa, because maybe it was a nafel. And the Mepharshim understand the Rambam. The Rambam says you don't get malchus, but it's an Asur Daraisa. So why aren't you samech on the rov? That rov are not nefalim. It's the question, but the Rambam says no. You assume that the animal was possibly a nafel, and the person's over in an Isur Daraisa. Now this same Rambam paskins, based on the Gemara in Yavamas, that if a woman is chayiv to do yibum, and she has a child who dies within 30 days, so if the child was a nafel, she's chayeves b'yibum. If the child isn't a nafel, and was a viable child, and she's not chayeves b'yibum, so the child died before 30 days, you're mesupik, just like the animal dying before 8th day. 8 days. The animal died before 30 days. What's the din? So the din is that if she marries a Kohen, she can stick with him. She doesn't have to do chalitza misafek, because she's already married, and because samech on the rov, that rov kids aren't nefalim. The kid wasn't an nafel, the kid was a viable child, and memela, she had a child, she wasn't chayeves in yibum, she could remain married to this Kohen, she doesn't have to do chalitza. So you're samech on the rov. So Kim's for the shaila. So now we have a question. How can, and the Rambam paskins this way, so how can the Rambam one hand paskin that midaraisa you can't eat the animal that was shechted before 8 days Shem was a nafel, because you're not samech on the rov, and here the Rambam paskins that you are samech on the rov, that most kids are not nefalim, and she wasn't chayeves in yibum and chalitza, and memela she can stay married to this Kohen. If it's Yisrael, she does chalitza just in case. Shatnish, not a problem, but if it's a Yisrael, but if it's a Kohen that does shat yo, it is going to cause harm, because then she can't stay married to him. So we assert samech on the rov, samech on the rov. So why by Yavama are we samech on the rov, and by Hema we're not samech on the rov? The Dagol Meravava answer is based on a Taisvis in Yavamas that says that Nefalim are a miur hamatzui. Nefalim are a miur hamatzui. So based on that, he explains what the chilik would be. That when it comes to a behema is a cheskes iser. What's the cheskes iser? Cheskes iser she'eno zavuach. The behema has a cheskes iser she'eno zavuach. And together with the miur hamatzui, you can't be samech on the rov. Since it's a miur hamatzui, you take the chesk, normally chazaka of a rov or ba'adif, but if you have a miur hamatzui, then you can mechatzarif that to the chazaka, and it beats the rov, and therefore you take the miut, you take the chazaka that it's a cheskes iser, that it's a chazaka she'eno zavucha, and you mitzarif it to the miut of behemoths that are mepilos, and memela the animal is aser, and the person who ate it was over in his daraisa, whereas by Yavama there's no chazaka involved. Once she has the child, so then she is muteris lashuk. It's not like she has a cheskas chazaka she'eno zavucha, so she's muteris lashuk. The only thing is that what about the miut that are nefalim? So you don't have to worry about that miut, because it's not mitzdarif to any chazaka. So therefore, by a yavama we can be mekel b'diavad, whereas by an animal we can't, because the animal has this chazaka that's mitzdarif to the miut hamatzui. And we explain that there are two types of rovs. There's a rov that's misalik the suffix, a rov that completely removes the suffix, and then there's a rov that completely removes the miut, and then there's a rov that you paskin like the rov, even though the miut is still a miut. So what the B'dagol Meravava is saying is that if it's a miut hamatzui, the rov is not misalik the miut. You can't say miut to kamandalesa, that there's no miut. Nevertheless, you can follow the rov as a psak, as a hanhaga, as a hachra. But if together with that hachra, you also, if you together with that rov, you also have a chazak against it, and you can't be machriya. So, when it comes to the Yavama, or Samich that rov ladus b'nei kayama, even neged miyat hamatzui, so you can paskin and be machriya like the rov. But by behema, it's not enough. Because since there's still a suffix, since together with the suffix that still exists, there's still a miyut, and there's also a chazaka, so you put the chazaka together with the miyut, and it beats the rov. When does the rov beat a chazaka? When the rov is misalik the suffix. Because we explain, when you follow chazakas? When you're misupik. But if you're not misupik, you don't follow chazaka. So when a rov is misalik a suffix, then you don't follow the chazaka that's against the rov. But if the rov is not misalik the chazaka is still there. When the rov is not misalik the miyut, because the miyut is still there, then you're mitzaref the chazaka. If the rov was misalik the miyut, then the rov beats the chazaka. But if the rov wasn't misalik the miyut is still there, and together with the miyut you have a chazaka, that beats the rov. So when it comes to the animal, the chazaka together with the miyut beats the rov animals are b'nei kayama. So you have to machmir. Hashem came when it comes to the yavama. By the yavama, we don't have a chazaka. All we have is a miyut mepilos, and against that, you have a rov that are not. So it might be a miyut hamatzui, but you still follow the rov. And since you can follow the rov, memela, this woman who marries a Kohen is allowed to stick with him. But if it's an animal, the person can't eat the animal, because not only is there going to be this miyut, a matsui of miyut are mepilos, miyut are nefalim. Not only that miyut are nefalim, miyut are not viable, but together with the miyut that are not viable, you also have the cheskas iser shenu zavuach, and memela you can't follow the rov, and eating is an iser daraisa. Ad kan b'tzurat tamtzitit ma shelamadnu b'shiur kodem. So that's the sikum. Now, we are going to, if I may use a sports metaphor, take the ball and run. The crazy Siman Tes Vav, Sif Cotton Gimel, explains where Shimon Gamliel says in the Gemara that if it doesn't wait 8 days, we're in Yavamas. The Behema, it's a suffix nafel. It's a Gemara in Shabbos. 8 days is a suffix nafel. And you don't go after the rov, that rov lados are b'nei kayama, because the gabe behema, you have another miyut. Not just one miyut by behema, you have two miyuts. What's the second miyut of the behema? Second miyut is that maybe the behema was a treifa, and b'makom nekev shochat. So you have the fact that it was a treifa, possibly miyut, and then you have the fact that it was a nafel. And therefore, Reb Shimon Gamliel says that if it's before 8 days, the animal was shechted, you can't eat it. Daraisa. So the fi the placey, we can now be mechalik between a behema and a yavama. Because behema, there are two sveikas, two miutim, and that's megareya the koach harov. That beats the rov. Therefore, b'di'evid, where are the two sveikas? It was a nefel, and that b'makom nekev shochat. But it was really a treifa. And it was just shechted, but there was a hole in the neck or whatever, so we didn't know. But taka was a treifa. So if you have the fact that it was a treifa, and you're mitzaref the fact that it was a treifa, together with the fact that miyut behemas are nefalim, so that is megareya the koach harov, and even b'di'evid one can't eat it. If one does, one is over in Issa D'Oraisa. But by a Yavama, you only have one miyut. What's the miyut? That it was a nefil. But the second miyut, that the yelad was a treifa? No. Anybody who learned Tosas already in Shabbos, Kuf Lamed Vav, knows that a treifa paters from yibum. Woman gives birth to a yellow treifa, that paters her, she doesn't have to do yibum. Ebazoi, we only have one miyut. What's the miyut? Miyut nefalim. So there, b'diavad, you can follow the rov. Follow her, she already got married. If she didn't do chalitza, but she already got married to a kohen, let the happy couple stay together. Shalom al Yisrael, because there's only one miyut, and the rov is that the behema was a bar kayama. It's a bar kayama, she wasn't chayiv in chalitza, and she can stay married to Mr. Cohen. And invei hagefen, davar noah u miskabel. Shenkem, when it comes to a behema, you have two miyutim there, you have to be machmir. So the Kreisi brings a makor for this Chiddush Din from Iran. The Gemara in Chulin, Samach Gimel Amid Beis, asks, and that it says that if you buy an egg from a goy, you can eat it, and you're not worrying about the fact that it was an egg from a tamei bird. Why not? Why not? Ask the Gemara. Maybe it's from a tamei bird. And for the Gemara, because it's talking about a case, Ba'omer shel oif ploni tar. He says it was from an oif ploni tar. What was the Gemara's kasha? That maybe it was from an oif tamei. For Ektosis, why are we choshish for an oif tamei? The oifis tahorim are the rov. Megait mitten roiv, as they say in French yeshivas. You have to go with the rov. So what's b'chalal the shayla? And for the ran, that even though Tumeim are a miyut, there's another miyut here. Miyut animals are treifas. Take the two miyuts together, ois rov. So therefore, the Gemara needs to come on to the teretz, ba'omer shel oif ploni tar. But the lezot, you would have to follow the two miyuts, which beat the rov. Kum tois from the ran, the yesod of the placey, that two miyuts can beat a rov. But now this puts us in a quagmire. Conundrum, a quandary. So many words in English that denote you're just stuck. And that is that this teretz then is only lefi the ran, but that wouldn't work like in Tosfos. Why not? Because Tosfos has the kasha. Why don't we just follow the rov? And Tosfos doesn't give the teretz that there are two miyutim against the rov. So maybe Tosfos holds that you don't follow two miyutim. But you see elsewhere that Tosfos does accept this principle. Tosfos is molded to this yisod. Where do you see that? The Gemara of Avas with Tzadi Gimel Amid Beis. There we ask on Rav, who holds that Holchem and Mama and Achar Rov. In monetary matters, you can follow the Rov. From a Mishnah, the Gemara had gefragt from a Mishnah. Shor shenogach asapara v'nimtza ubra betzida. So if you have this ox gored a cow, and the ubra is betzida, and you don't know, was geshein dolten? Is the ubra betzida because it gave birth to a stillborn? Or is the ubra betzida because it was kicked out by the shore? So, cholken misafek. Why don't we say rov animals give birth to a healthy baby, and you got to assume that it was kicked out? And the answer is because there's another tzad. There's a tzad that may be, besides the one tzad, that it does, there is a miyut at giving birth to nephalim. There's another tzad that maybe before the animal actually came, before the shore came and actually kicked it, it was afraid. It's only grommet. It wasn't that the shore actually kicked it. The para was so afraid of what was going to happen, it miscarried. So even if we go with the rov that it was a Vlad Ma'alya, that it wasn't an Eiffel, but you also have to be mitzareh if the machmas biatusu de pila, v'lo machmas hanagicha. So you have that it was a Eiffel, and together with that, maybe it was machmas, it was a good animal, but it was viable, but it was machmas biatusa, that it was miscarried because of fear. Tosa says that be'emes this tzad of machmas biatus is only a miut she'eno shakel, it's a suffix she'eno shakel Chances are not. Chances are, if you see the dead fetus there, it was because it was kicked. But there is a tzad, that machmas biatusa, that it wasn't kicked directly. So now you were mitzaref the miut mepilos, zusammen mit the miut machmas biatusa. You have two miutim, and what would then be the mathematical equation? Two miutim equals palga. That makes it half, and Israel ruba, and the rov is gegangen. Bye bye rov, and therefore cholkin. You can't just be somech on the rov and say that no, it gave birth. Normally it gives birth to healthy animals. It must have been the shore. So you have two miuts. The Hedian Tosas, that we do follow two miuts. So that was the quandary I mentioned before. And we had Tosas in Chulin Samach Gimel Amid Beis that don't go with the tzigang that you're mitzvah of two miutim. Only the Ran. And then we have the Tosas in Bava Basra that does go with the tzigang that you are mitzvah of two miutim. So are you mitzvah of two miutim or are you not mitzvah of two miutim, Rabbi Tosas? So there are different ways of dealing with it. Sometimes you can have not necessarily a steer between Tosim, but it's nice to harmonize them. There are other mahalchim. But based on what we've been learning here, we can say the following mahalach. This is from Moreno, Hagoyin Agoda Rosh HaYeshiva of Chaim Shmuel Levi Zitzal. He says as follows, that we follow the Rov, we said there are two possibilities. One is you follow the Rov al Psak V'Achro. That there's a chiddush in Dinei Sfeikis that when you have a suffix, you follow the Rov, you're machriya kafi the Rov. But there's still a miut. And the other is a din beirur hasafik, that the Rov is moil, the salek ikar hasafik, and to be mevatel legamrei tzad miut. And that is the yesod that we discussed and flushed out in the previous shir, miuta kemandalesa. There's no miut. This Rov is a zah, starker Rov, so it's mesalek the miut legamrei. So according to this, we could say as follows: that the Tosfos hold that we're not choshish for the tzeruf of miutim in Chulin Samach Gimel Amid Beis, when you have the oftar, we're not choshish for the miut that are ofos tameim together with the treifis. Why? Because that's only linyan din hachra b'sfekis. We're going to be machriya and we're going to paskin like the Rov, even though they're two miyutim. Because you're done each suffix independently, and you say, oif tameh, other oif tar. Rov tahirim. Say it's tar. Good. That's number one. Now you have a second question. The second question is, was it a treifa or not a treifa? Most of us aren't treifas. So go with the fact that it's not a treifa. So kumtois, that it's an oif tar that's not a treifa. There you would follow the Rov, and therefore Tosas says, why don't you nasal basar ruba? But Tosas would agree that if they're two miuts, it's not mesalik the legamre the suffix. They just say that it's da suffix, as they used to say in Vilna. There is a suffix here, but the Rov is machrir. You're paskin lefi the Rov. That explains Tosas over there in Chulin. Now, we go from Chulin, we go in the Daf Yomi cycle back a little while. Good year or two, whatever it is. And you get to Bava Basra. Tosin Bava Basra. So what are we going to do with that, Tosfos? There we're talking about a Holchem B'Momen Acharov, the sheet of Rav. And Rav holds that Holchem B'Momen Acharov even to be Motzi Miyad HaMuchzuk. When are you motzi miyad muchzuk? Al pi rov? Only, and this is critical, sweet friends. This is something that you have to, saying this should go viral. There should be tens of millions of views on this. You're only doing motzi moment mea muchzuk lefi rav, herois taira yidin, when it's miuta kamandalese. When the miut is rendered nothing, when it's completely neutralized, when there is no miut. So since the roiv is misalik, the ikr suffik, it can be motzi mammon. But let's say you would have a case where the rov isn't misalik, the ikr suffik. The rov is not misalik, the ikr suffik. Can't be motzi mammon. So there, where you have two miyutim, we said two miyutim means that you're not misalik, the ikr suffik. You have two miyutim, the rov is only a psak, it's only a hachra. The rov is only a psak and hachra. That's not motzi mammon. So by the shor shenogeh chasapara, we have the miyut nefalim, and we have the machmas biatusa. Das schafft zwei miyutim. Two miyuts. Two. Like the referee says in the basketball game. 2 shots. So, you have two miyutim, and those two miyutim created mitzias where the rov, which is against those two miyutim, is only giving a psak and hachra. So, the mammon only hochem achar rov when the rov is misalik the suffik l'gamrei. Now are there two miyutim? So as they used to say back in the park, sorry Charlie, can't be motzi mammon. Can't be motzi mammon. Can only be motzi mammon when the rov is misalik the suffik l'gamrei. When they're two miyutim, it's not. So now megai tzurik to the placey on the sheet of Rishim Gamliel that if it doesn't wait 8 days, bebehema it's a suffik neifel, and we don't follow the rov vlados that are bnei kayama. And what do the crazy say? Because they're really two miyutim. There's one miyut that it's a neifel, there's another miyut that it's a treifa. So we said two miyutim, that's only a toises vort. That's toises in chulin. That's only, a ran vort. The ran in chulin. The ran says that, why don't we follow the rov? Rov is tahirim. And the answer is because there's two miyuts. There are two miyuts. One miyut that it's a treifa, one miyut that it's an of tummy. So yeah, the Gemara has to come on to the teretz. And it says that, but he told you it's an of tar, say. But not according to Tosfos in chulin. Tosfos asks, why don't you just follow the rov, even though there are two miyutim? So we said that's only a ran for it and not a Tosfos for it. But now we could say that it's even a Tosfos for it. Because Tosfos also holds that when there are two miyutim, you no longer say that miyuta command lese. And what does the rov do? The rov is a psak. The rov is a hachra. And since the rov is only a psak and hachra, Tosin Bava Basra says that it's not motzi mammon. So now let's go back to the cloud, the Dogel Meravava. Dogel Meravava says that when there's a cheskes isser, the cheskes isser can go together with a miyud hamatzui, and it is even out with the rov. The rov can't beat that anymore. So by a behema, remember we said that by behema there's a cheskes isser. It says the Dogel Meravava. The Gemara says, right, cheskes isser sheino zavuach. So the Dogel Meravava says, right, you have the cheskes isser sheino zavuach together with the miyud hamatzui and of nefalim, and therefore even b'diavad the animals also daraisa. Only when there is no chazaka, then you say ruba chazaka, ruba adif. I mean, only when there's no miyud hamatzui, then you say ruba chazaka, ruba adif. But if you have a rov against the chazaka, and why does a rov generally beat a chazaka? Because again, when do you follow chazakas? When there's a suffix, but rov is misalik the suffix. There's no reason to follow the chazaka. But since we have now that Tosfos agrees that seiruf miutim is moil, you can be mitzaref miutim, which means that the miut is no longer commanded. Let's say you still have a miut. Together with the miyud now, the chazaka is going to beat the rov. Rov only beats a chazaka when the rov is misalik, the suffix legamre. Then there's no need to come onto the chazaka. You can't come onto the chazaka because the rov beats it, wipes it out completely. TKO. But if there is still a suffix, and together with that you have a chazaka, you can't say miyuta kamandalese, and together with that you have a chazaka, then you don't follow the rov anymore. So now we could be miyashi the Rambam beautifully. Remember the steer in the Rambam. When it comes to Yavama, he says, b'di'evet they can stay married. Yan choshesh the child was a nefel. You assume the child was a viable child, and there's no chiyuv chalitza. If she marries a Kohen, she sticks with him. Gewaldig. I love when couples can be married and love each other. But in the case of Behemah, he says, in this doraisa to eat in your choshesh was a nefel. What's the difference? The difference is that when it comes to the Behemah, there was a chazaka. And what was the chazaka? Chazkasein was a vuach. But then you have a rov, that rov Behemos aren't nefalim. So on one hand you have the cheskes iser, on the other hand you have the rov that it was viable. The rov should be the chazaka. Yeah, but here we have two miyutim. What are the two miyutim? One miyut nefel, and the other miyut that maybe it was a treifa, like the crazy says. Maybe it was a treifa of a makom nekev shochat. So now you don't have to come onto the chiddush of the dagol meravav anymore, of the miyud hamatzui. Because in miyud hamatzui, the rov is in misalik the suffix, the miyud hamatzui is mitzdarif to the chazaka. Here you can go easier in a smoother path, and that is to say that you have two miyutim. How do you say about two miyutim that they're command lesse with there's a rov? Okay, the rov is going to be, you're going to pass them like the rov, it's milachriya, but the miyutim are still there. And then you're mitzayir to those two miyutim, the chazaka, chazkaz shenu zavuach. What does that spell? That spells that the person can't eat this animal daraisa. Can't follow the rov b'chlal. You don't say miyutim command lesse. Shane came when it comes to the case of the Yavama, there, where there aren't two miyutim, so there, in the case of Yavama, when the child is born, you have, there's no cheskes iser. There's no cheskes iser over there. And there, you just have one miyut. There's no cheskes iser. There's one miyut. So v'ad follow the rov. No need to do chalitza. Rov vlados are b'nei kayama. That's when it comes to the Yavam. But when it comes to the case of the Behemah, there you say no. You have the two miyuts together with the chazaka, and therefore the two miyuts make that it's not a miyut command lesse, and therefore it could be mitzdarif to the chazaka, and the animal will then be a animal that can't be eaten, even midoraisa. So we learn here that when it comes to Ruba Chazaka, Ruba Adif, it's only when the miyut is command lesse. And also Klape Hotzas Mamon. Klape Hotzas Mamon, it's only when it's miyut command lesse, then you follow the rov. Then you could be Motzi Mamon from the Muchzak. But if it's not miyut command lesse, because for example you have two miyutim, you can't be Motzi Mamon al pi ha rov v'hadvarim hayu nifloim mamish misukim midvash v'noifes tzufim. So this is a big schus that we can learn this tremendous Torah of the placing in the Dogel Mei Revava and the Toisasim and the Steer and Toisus, all put together by the great mirror, Rosh Hashiva, Reb Chaim Zatzal. We should talk about Zeicha Mitzvah Shem. There's a lot more to say on this sugi. I'm saying it's Oilam Amelo. So we should be Zeicha Lilmod Ulalamed Lishma Velasa L'Kaim is called Divrei Salma Tarasa B'Havo. Amen v'Amen. Shalom Shalom. Sweetest and most beloved friends.